The Chicago Bears come out of the 2024 NFL Draft with a clear vision now set for the roster and for the team. On today's episode, I'm going to talk about and ask the question, are the Bears further through the rebuild than what many people are giving them credit for? We're also going to look at some important dates left up for the Chicago Bears and also look at what free agents are out there that the Bears could look to bring in now that the draft is done. We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's get into it. So the Chicago Bears come out of the NFL draft with, Rome Odunze, Caleb Williams. They also get Kieran, they get Taylor, the punter there. They also get Austin Booker. They got a nice, solid amount of talent there, but more so than just the draft. The place that this team is in now, right, with many Bears fans having the rightful expectation that this team is contending, and some don't even have the contending part. They want the Bears in the playoffs. Are we ready to say that the Bears are done with the rebuild? Now, by that, I don't mean that they're done adding to this team, or I in no way mean that this team is anywhere necessarily that we can say yet as far as contending for a Super Bowl. When you look at the definition of rebuilding, right, I look at rebuilding as you are building that foundation, and until you get that foundation, you're continually in that spot of setting that foundation up. I think with what the Bears have done now in this offseason in totality, and then already looked at what they have on that defensive side of the ball, it's ready to say that the Bears aren't rebuilding. And now they're perfecting, right? They're building now, not rebuilding. They have their foundation. They have a young core here, a nice mix of veterans and young players as well. When you look at the offense, Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze is really the young players, and you got veterans who are not old either in that, and Cole Kmet's still a very young player, right? Khalil Herbert, Roschon Johnson, you add DeAndre Swift to that. You got Keenan Allen out there with DJ Moore in the wide receiver room as well. And then you also have Gerald Everett as well as young players and veterans on that offensive line that we still need to see, right? And this Bears team is in a much better place than what it was at the start of the 2022 season to where they are now. And this is a team that now has the legitimate expectations to be contending within their division and thus also for a playoff spot. How well they're going to perform in that comes down to how the coaching staff does, how the players improve, things like that. But this Ryan Poles has done something here that I think when you look at really at where we were when he came in here, right, to where we are now, it's night and day in many different areas and key spots for this team as far as where we are as a franchise. This franchise isn't just in a place where they're grasping for something to rebuild. They now have some pieces that they can build around and try to flesh this thing out. Now, of course, Caleb Williams, it's a rookie year. Rome Odunze, it's a rookie year. You got to really see how these guys are going to grow. Also on the defensive side of the ball, we know we got that young secondary full of first and second year players all up and down that secondary to add to veterans that you have in Jalen Johnson, Bayard, who's now coming over here, the defensive line. Javon Dexter's stepping into theoretically the 3-tech role here now, starting with what we have on this roster so far and looking to see how he's going to develop, as well as third-year player now going into his third year is Jack Sanborn in that linebacking core. So we have a nice mix of youth and veterans all up and down this team, but at some point you have to move from rebuilding to a team that's fighting for something, contending in a way, right? Not contending for a title. We can't say that yet, but it's fighting for something. And so this Bears team no longer gets, to me, the label of being a rebuilding team anymore. You've built your foundation. Now it's time to see what that foundation can bring you, how far it can take you, tinker with the roster, still develop young guys. We're still a developing team, right? A lot, but this is a team now that has realistic expectations around it. And while I've said and told you guys, the expectations for Caleb Williams, I get why everybody has these huge rookie season expectations for him, and that's going to come with the job. That comes with being a Chicago Bears quarterback, a team that is thirsty to have a great quarterback here leading this team. But he's going to have his rookies up and downs. But outside of that, it's the team that we have here, and also how Caleb Williams is set up, right? He is set up in something that all eyes are going to be on him to see what he can do with, and what Shane Waldron can do with him as well, with all the weapons and the revamped offense that we've had here now in Chicago. This is a time where a lot of Chicago Bears fans are going to have big expectations for this team. And a lot of that does start with Caleb, but outside of that, it also starts with the coaching. It starts with the defense. It starts with everything, right? But this is a much different team. When you look at the starting wide receivers in 2022, Dante Paris, Byron Pringle, Equinami St. Brown, Darnell Mooney as well when you throw in there. We are now in 2024. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Romo Dunze. That's what a difference 2 years makes for the Chicago Bears. That's how different this team in a different place that this franchise is in. And so with that comes different expectations. You get a little bit of excuses when it comes down to being a team that's clearly rebuilding, and you're still a team that is that the young players are going to develop. And I want to make no mistake about it. I've been one of the biggest voices in saying, hey, I get it. Everybody has these CJ Stroud now comparisons and expectations for Caleb. Let's see what he's going to bring in year one. But who he is at the beginning of the season isn't going to be the same player he is hopefully by the end of the season, and much less in 2-3 years down the road. But it's now starting to build off that foundation that you said. And there are going to be some things that we need to tinker with. There's going to be some things that don't work out quite the way that we hoped. But when it's all said and done, you now have that vision from Ryan Poles and the foundation that he's laid here now with this team, that expectations are starting to get real for this franchise. Yeah, but let me know what you guys think on all that down below. As always, I love to hear from you guys. But also with that said, the Bears did not address the edge position in a way that a lot of people thought. There's still some free agents out there that I think can help the Bears at 2 positions of need, big need for the Bears. And even though we did draft Austin Booker, who I do think still has upside of being a starter, he could be a player that's going to take a year or so to really develop and get the most out of. So I want to look at some edges here. I also have a center here on this list. There are still free agents that the Bears could target in the 2024 NFL draft. The first one I'm going to mention is the center, kind of get it out the way, and that's Conor Williams. We all know the injury concerns are there for Conor Williams, but I do think the further we go along in this offseason, the more chances there are for Conor Williams to be willing to take a 1-year prove-it deal for a team. And the Bears are one of the teams that could be set up to not only have the need there for Conor Williams, but also to provide Conor Williams the opportunity to really show how healthy he is going to be over the course of this NFL season and contribute at a position that the Bears do need. So while I've not heard very much about Conor Williams kind of since the free agency initially opened, and that is because of the doubts around his health, I will not be surprised as the Bears go through training camp and things like that Conor Williams could be one of those names that the Bears pivot back to kind of look at, to come in and then say, hey, when you are healthy, what you're going to bring here is going to be great. And maybe look at working something out longer term down the road, or looking at the center position in next year's draft, things like that. But I would not be surprised if Conor Williams ends up a player that, as the Bears go through their offseason programs, that maybe pops back up for the Bears and a lot of the other teams that could make some sense for the Chicago Bears team. And again, I know the injuries are there. That's why it is this deal that, if he is willing to accept the right deal, kind of a 1-year prove-it deal to prove he can stay healthy, and then come in here and help this Bears team hugely at that center position that we do need. Now, outside of that, edges, and I'm going to look at a handful of edges in this draft. One that we've had here that has some concerns around. But the first edge that I want to bring up that the Bears could look to pivot to is Carl Lawson. Now, he played with the with the New York Jets. The colors got me confused. Last year, only 6 games played, didn't register a single sack. So outside of that, if you look at it, again, these are on 1-year prove-it deals. I'm not saying big money deals or anything like that. But if you look at his 2 prior seasons to that, he played all 17 games in 2022. He had 7 sacks that year, 1 forced fumble as well in that. So this is a guy that I do think can come in, provide some depth there. Depends on how you view Austin Booker, whatever happens there at that edge position. And then the year prior to that, in 2020 for the Bengals, he did have 5.5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles as well. So Carl Lawson could be a cost-effective contract that you could bring in that as well. And you look at his age too, 20, I believe that would make him 26 years old. If my math is correct on that one, check me. So still a guy who, is young enough that maybe would be willing to take a prove-it deal to prove that he can still contribute. But again, that raises some of its own questions. The next guy that I want to bring in as well is Emmanuel Agba. I believe is how you pronounce it. Defensive end, played last season with the Miami Dolphins as well. I don't think he signed a new deal yet. Last season, he did have 5 sacks as well. This is a guy that I think could come in and help the Chicago Bears, again, to provide some depth at that edge position if needed, right? So, it depends on what happens there, right? And you got to see it. We'll see what happens with that one. So, if he does come back, he was released by the Dolphins. If he is willing to take a deal and take a cost-effective deal. He is somebody that I do think can help the Bears at that edge position, provide a little more veteran leadership, some depth there as well. 30 years old, so you want to definitely make sure that it is a reasonable cost control contract for the Bears. But I do think that it is somebody in the realm of possibility if the Bears are looking at edge positions there after training camp. And the last guy that I'm going to bring up, as far as that we don't already know about, is Calais Campbell. This is a defensive tackle / defensive end, which again, because of the versatility that Eric Washington likes to have on that defensive line, could really help out the Chicago Bears. This is a veteran. He's been in the league for a long time. He's almost as old as I am at 36 years old. So there's, of course, that question, but he's still effective. When you look at his last 2 years, in 2022, still 5.5 sacks in that time, 2 forced fumbles as well. This guy can still absolutely get it done. And then last season, all 17 games played, 6.5 sacks he had. So again, because of some veteran leadership, some versatility, he could bring something. And if he doesn't work out, you can always cut him. If he doesn't end up making the training camp roster, things like that. So most of these guys that I've mentioned are I think the Bears are going to go through that first wave of training camp, probably trying to see what they have in some of these guys. The guys that we already have on the roster, but the Bears then could have, much like last year when they went after Yannick Ngakoue, when they saw, hey, now we need something here, maybe they can look to do that. And don't rule outside the chance of Yannick Ngakoue also still coming back to this team as well. I know that Steve-O and C-Dub have some questions, and there's definitely reason to have some concerns over that possibility. But I think if he's willing to take less than what he got paid last year as well, that there is something to be said that he could end up coming back for the Chicago Bears on a cost-effective contract again to try to prove he can stay healthy and have a full season and offseason of Montez Sweat being there and to see how he performed, much like Justin Jones got a deal because Montez Sweat came in there and helped his game take that pressure off. Maybe Yannick Ngakoue, he's still young enough as well to look at it and view that situation as being something favorable to him and the Bears at the right money as well. But let me know what you guys think. Are there any other free agents that you would like the Bears to kind of take a look at or swing at now, knowing that, you know, what this team is after the draft, some players there? I kind of focus on those two positions just because we know that those are the two biggest ones for the Bears. There are also some other veteran offensive linemen, some D tackles as well that could come in here and help the Bears in training camp. But, you know, ultimately we'll see what we have there. But there are some now key dates, right? When you look at it, we got some questions on it. The rookie mini camp is May 10th through 13th. So that'll be coming up here sooner rather than later. That's at the end of next week. And then you have our schedule will be released in full in May. We know who we're playing, but when we're playing them, that'll be released as well next month. And then May 20th will be the first of 6 voluntary training camps there at Hallis Hall. So you have those the 20th and 21st, then May 23rd, then the 28th through 29th, and May 31st. And then the first mandatory mini camp is June 4th through 6th, with then training camp opening up in mid-July. So, hey, we're not too far away. These dates are going to come rolling faster than what I think a lot of people have expected for the Chicago Bears. And we'll be hearing and getting to see Caleb Williams build that chemistry with his actual teammates here sooner rather than later. But, of course, with it being draft weekend, we got a lot of voicemails in. We're going to play 2 of them on today's episode. This one's from Bishop Lott.
Hey, guys, what's happening? This is Bishop Lott down in Arizona. Your homeboy from 43rd and Lake Park, Dr. King High School, the first graduating class. Man, I'm excited just listening to you guys' reasoning. I want to say hello to Haize, my dog, Cognac Boys, Big Steve-O. Man, y'all clowning them, man. Just keeping it real, man, the Chicago style, you dig? West side, south side, any kind of part of the crib, man. That's how we get down. We get down where we sit down. But as I watched the draft, I was bouncing back and forth between CBC and the draft because, man, y'all was on that thick, man, with your boy too, man. I forget the guy's name, but man, I loved it. You know, my concern now that this is in the past is how they develop the plays to the skills and the skill sets we have. Number one, tell me what you think about that. Then number 2, how the team gels. Of course, I mean, Caleb and all the pieces we got now, how does it come together as a team? Because I think at least year 1 and year 2, that process is going to have some issues. But I think between year 2 and year 3, as this team grows, man, football better get ready, man. Because as I had mentioned to you guys earlier, just like Ryan Poles built a monsters team in KC, now we see the results of his skill in Chicago, man. And I'm excited, man. I've been watching the Bears since I was a little kid, man. So I'm looking forward to the Bears being a threat, a danger, a headache, and a problem to a lot of people. Does that mean it's going to happen overnight? No. But I believe in proper time, like I said, year 2, year 3, man, we're gonna be doing some damage. If we don't make the playoffs this year, we're gonna make it next year. But then we can look for the future in the Super Bowl as we shore up some open spaces that we have on the O-line and center and that the edge and a couple of other pieces. But tell me what you think, guys. Man, I'm loving it. I'm excited. Man, we about to clown, y'all. It's on and cracking, man. It's on like a pot of neck bones. It's your boy Bishop Lott down in Arizona. Chicago up, bear down. We get down where we sit down. Holla.
The Bears coming together in year 1 as a team, I completely agree with you. It's going to be some growing pains there. I think you're going to have some hurdles there, of course. It's how well they deal with those hurdles as a team, and then how do the other aspects of the team as a whole, the defense and special teams, help overcome some of that. We'll see how this offense comes together. I think Shane Waldron is going to have them ready to go. Caleb Williams already says that he's going to have the playbook in his hand sometime this week. So that's going to be important to get him familiarized with that playbook as much as possible before the rookie training camp does open. But a lot of that's going to be done there as well. So, it's the Bears, to watch this progress over the season is going to be the fun part, right? And the doubt's going to come kind of early on, especially if they have struggles. But as you round those things out, as you smooth those struggles over, I can't wait to see what this team looks like after that point in time, right? So, like, you give it, the first 2-3 weeks of the season, really kind of working out some kinks, right? And then you want to start seeing things progress at week 4 there going forward. And then by the halfway mark of the season, you really want it to kind of be a well-oiled machine. Now, ideally, you want it before then, but I'm just trying to give some leeway on those things that are going to happen. So there are definitely going to be hurdles. There are definitely going to be shortcomings. And there are definitely going to be some games where it may look a little rough out there. But I trust the coaching staff. I trust the talent that we have here. They're going to work it out. And this team, I can't wait to see what this team looks like by the end of the season, because I think Bears fans are going to be very happy with the product we put out there on the field this season when it's all said and done. And yeah, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see. I'm so excited about this upcoming season. But all right, let's get into the next voicemail that we got for today. The last one. This one's from Tyrese.
Yeah, boys. It's your boy Tyrese, man. Y'all already know Arkansas. From the South Side. Anyway, check this out, man. I'm geeked. I'm trying to hold it back, but I'm geeked. Look, check this out one more time. Generation. I done heard generational with 2 of the picks that we didn't have, right? And then that's with Caleb and now our punter. Hold on. Let me just say something about our punter real quick. Fuck around and get past that damn defense and run up on that punter and think he a hoe. I'm leaving it at that. But, yeah, and then we're wrong. People were saying, when we was all saying that Marvin Harrison, we wanted him because he's generational. But we also said in same context that Rome had the opportunity to be better than him. So what that make him? That could be another generational fucking player, bro. If Ryan Poles don't get the nickname of fucking Chef Poles, I know y'all, that nigga cooking. I'm just geek, bro. It's gonna be all the way up there. I'm gonna keep on calling y'all all year. And, doing my super chat shit and all that other shit, you know what I'm saying? Fucking with y'all because I fuck with y'all. And I'm gonna reiterate that. I fucks with y'all, dog. Like, I fucking got mad love for y'all guys, man. No cap. So, Steve-O, I never called y'all niggas no bitches, bro. But anyway, look, off that goofy shit, onto some other shit. Steve-O, last night during the second round of the draft, you said that, oh boy, our 3rd round pick was an alien. I just got through watching tape on dude, and I seen a picture of Buddy ass. That nigga could touch his knees standing straight at the fuck up. Dude arms long as shit. And then I was watching, they say he was a basketball player on the interview, woo-woo. Dude athletic as fuck. Hey, Braxton Jones, 2 years. This draft was the perfect fucking draft that I could have imagined, above and beyond, with 2 players that I never thought that I even think about even mocking, as far as the punter, and I can't say Karan's whole name, in our 3rd round pick. So, man, listen, we cooking, baby. Chicago up, better. I'm trucking.
First of all, Tyrese is turning into one of my favorite guys here. But yeah, we got players that are looked at as generational talents in this draft. Caleb Williams, you got to look at him like that. Taylor, the kicker punter, definitely like that. But outside of just the label of generational, you could see each one of these guys potentially turning into a starter at some point for the Chicago Bears. Not necessarily saying next season, but Austin Booker has great upside for the Bears. And, even if he doesn't end up turning into a starter, if he just ends up turning to extremely good quality depth piece, he has the motor, he has the attitude, he has the drive, he has the intelligence, the athleticism, all that to the physical skills, all that to do it. And Kieran's another guy that I really think that that's an underrated pick. And I think when you look at the doubts around Braxton Jones, with those that exist, the fact that also Tevin Jenkins has had a lot of injury concerns. If Kieran can come in here, stay healthy, grow and develop, his versatility of being able to be used as a tackle or a guard can really help out the Chicago Bears tremendously in this. And then, of course, you already know what we got in Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. So this is going to be a draft where, the players in this draft I think are going to be here for a long time. Seeing these guys develop, show, and prove that they and earn roles on this team, that's going to always be a fun part of the season as well. So, like I said before, really excited about this season. I hope a lot of Bears fans are excited about what we're in store for as well. And hopefully the Bears live up to that also, right? That's a big part of it as well. But guys, thank you so much for leaving your voicemails. We'll play a couple of those, try each episode this week. Make sure you guys are following the show at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but Bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.